One, and we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wolf. Very excited to be here and chat with Mr. Gary Cardone, who you guys have seen from a million of our spaces. If you're in the Bitcoin world at all, if you're in the business world, you're going to know him. He has literally traversed the plains here and has ended up in the Bitcoin world with us, amongst other things. He's also the host of the I Am Show on Sundays. Dude, you're doing a lot of things. I really appreciate you making the time and excited to jump into this podcast together.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, a lot of the people know you from the Bitcoin spaces, especially our macro shows and stuff like that. But you have like a full career before you came to Bitcoin. So I want to get into that in a minute. But I do want to hear a little, and I think I've maybe gotten this from another space. I can't remember. Either way, for people who are new, I'd love to hear how you found out about Bitcoin, and then also why you ended up staying. Obviously, price was up, it was killing it, and now it's coming back down. So the swings are very, very real. And so I'd love to hear sort of your story, how you got into it, and where you're kind of sitting now mentally.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot there. Look, I came into crypto and I first looked at it in 2016 and walked away from it because of the noise and the circus. It just really appeared to be a circus to me. And I didn't like all the infighting, Roger Ver and BSV, and it was confusing. Yeah. So let's just see something here. I walked away from it, and I was involved in a business. This would have been 2016. So I was moving to London to scope out whether or not the business that I was running in the fraud business out of Tampa was if we could go international with it. So I spent a year there, and I think this is true for a lot of players that come from traditional business. Some people will have something they can't just walk away from it. Sure. And I hear Bitcoiners sometimes go, "Hey, just sell it all and walk away and come into Bitcoin." And, it's just not practical when you have 600 people working for you. So I had this game. I was focused on exiting the game. And this business was in the credit card fraud business. So it taught me a tremendous amount about transaction fees and how consumers are getting pretty much rogered every moment of every day. And the whole, I went through the whole internet conversion from retail shopping to internet, which really caught a lot of people by surprise. I mean, I'll remind everyone, Walmart was this close to going out of business to Amazon. They bought JetPay back for $6 billion, I think, 10 years ago, and it was the biggest deal ever done. And people thought Walmart's out of their mind. That saved Walmart, who's now still, a major retailer, especially on the internet. But my career, how I got here was I had retired when I was 40 from the energy business, and about 200 men transformed the way energy transact. The way energy transacts today is not the way it used to transact. It used to be between ExxonMobil and DuPont Chemical, and they'd do a deal for 20 years, and it would be based on nothing other than cost plus some kind of escalator. And then guys like me showed up in the 80s. The Reagan administration, which I think is very similar to what we're doing here, went through a deregulatory process where the thought was, hey, why don't we break all these monopolies up and let's create some competition, create innovation, and let the market act more freely. Because up until then, it was just monster players selling energy to each other. Natural gas, by the way, was priced at $7, 1985, okay? Natural gas is priced at $4.20 today. Everyone said it had to go to $15. It's not done that. And it's not done that because we created a proper market where supply and demand speak to each other. And those markets today still work today very effectively. And that's why crude oil never goes above 100. It tries to, it needs all these stories to do it, but it never does. Electricity finds its way, nat gas finds its way to the marketplace. Crude oil always finds a way around the embargoes. And that really gave me a tremendous foundational background on how commodities work, but also how retail actually gets adopted. And the missing piece for the crypto space, when I first came in here, you guys were talking about peer-to-peer and having 8 billion users. And I'm like, gosh, you kind of missed a step. Okay. Because Satoshi, if you read the Satoshi white paper, he talks about peer-to-peer, but he doesn't say peer-to-peer happens on day one. It most certainly wasn't going to happen on day one. And most certainly it's not going to happen on year 10. It took Visa, MasterCard 52 years to get a bunch of plastic in your back pocket. 52 years. 52 years. I keep saying that to everyone in the crypto space, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Dude, it took 52 fucking years, okay? Scaling in mass is a challenge for anyone. The largest centralized organizations in the world have a problem with scale. And now you're going to tell me you're going to decentralize scale? Come on, man. You're out of your mind, okay? So, and this is where we've been with Bitcoin. We go to Africa, we realize, hey, that's awesome. We got 12 people with wallets in Africa. They're trading $12 a year. But the way the adoption is going to occur is that you're going to go through Amazon, just like you and I are using StreamYard right here. If centralization is so bad, why are we using StreamYard?
It's easier. It's faster.
Well, it's more efficient, right? Because we would just be talking to you and I. I mean, this acts as a hub, a clearing hub of information so people can stick in. I should be able to send your link to mine, but I don't know why I can't do that.
You're tagged, by the way, if you're on X.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're tagged there. You should see a notification. And by the way, for people who are watching, if you haven't already, please take a second and repost if you're enjoying the discussion.
Yeah, you guys repost the damn space. All anybody's going to be talking about today is Epstein and $72,000 Bitcoin. So
it's true.
So, you know, that's my background. I built businesses since I was 23. Large corporations were never going to hire a guy like me. I'm not I never get invited to the P. Diddy or the Epstein parties. There's a reason. They know I'm not going to play that game. Everything we have going on in the world today, like, dude, I've seen all of this. Okay. Like it's so, this is the way the world works. Okay. People get compromised and they get compromised. And, you know, probably the greatest thing I've ever done is been in business my whole life and been attacked. And I haven't actually gotten in a position where I made a mistake that some of these people, the careers are getting ready to be exposed as completely fake. It's always been clear to me there's a club and I ain't in it. I was told that once in England, dude, you're not in the club. You're never going to be invited to the club. And he was my friend.
Interesting. Because of how you act or what you're willing to, or what do you mean? Like, what was, he was just like, no, you're not going to be in it. You could tell, or what do you mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, they knew that I wasn't, they couldn't buy me, man. Okay. That I didn't have enough to squeeze. I mean, he showed me the secret handshake and look, this is what, look, if you think about most businesses are very similar and the crypto industry, I characterize it as a 17-year-old behaving as a 17-year-old. And it's very junior high-ish, okay? If you just remove yourself, the behavior here is very junior high-ish. It's the same exact way in energy companies and banking industries, I promise you, okay? Except the nomenclature is a little fancier. And their conversation, they know how to speak because they went all to the same schools and they learn how to speak this. I can always tell a fakester because they have a particular MBA voice. And no, dude, they do. They do. Off record, I'll give you one particular voice. And when you notice the voice and you hear this guy talk, you're like, wow, I've seen that on 30 other guys that wear Patagonia vest.
Wow.
So this has been like my whole life has been an adventure in business. And because I wasn't an athlete, I was never going to be a basketball player. I'm 5'7". I was never going to be a Hollywood actor. So I ended up doing business as a competition against big companies. And it's really put me in a position for Bitcoin to understand it and get through some of the noise that a lot of people that come from TradFi struggle with crypto. So one of the things you learn in disruptions of events, and that's almost the way I would define myself. I'm just a disruptor, right? I've just been involved in so many disruptive industries. It is the people that create the disruption. We underestimate how long it's going to take, and we then grossly underestimate the impact it's going to make. And I think we could say that it's true for crypto. Like if the true whales of yesteryear really understood what this was going to do, the Tim Drapers, the whoever's, the Kaiser, they would have all bought up the Bitcoin and done this themselves. They would not have allowed Wall Street in here. And that's kind of interesting because nobody wanted Wall Street, but they did not understand adoption. And most certainly they have competed and betrayed each other at a colossal scale. This is a huge problem. Like imagine what Bitcoin would be if there had never been an Ethereum or anything else. If these guys just work with each other, they would be richer. They'd be in more control. I'm telling you, dude, the whole thing would have been, but they were wankers. They were young. They were greedy. They couldn't agree on anything, and we're decentralized. I get back to this decentralization thing. It has some awesome attributes, but I wouldn't want to fight a war decentralized. If I have an army of fucking people coming after me, I want my boys right next to me, right? So, you know, there's pluses and minuses to everything. I'm not going to clear billions of dollars of whatever peer-to-peer. Not 24/7. Can't do that, man. So I need intermediaries. I mean, maybe you're long Bitcoin and I'm long dollars and you want some dollars, but what do you have to sell me? Do you have anything to sell me? Your time? I want a TV set. I want a 75-inch TV set. Well, you got, TV set, but you don't have any money. Or you don't have any Bitcoin. So I want to be able to hit them. Like if Bitcoin didn't have this big pool of money coming into it, making it liquid, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
Because I know a lot of businesses you can get into and you can't get out. And the beauty behind Bitcoin, hey, it's liquid, man. Well, exactly. It's liquid means, hey, it's 50 billion liquid. It's not, hey, I want to liquidate and then you have a 30% drop in the afternoon. So we're getting there. We're just going through the machinations of being immature, decentralized, a little confused, but horrible marketing. I mean, bro, the marketing on this.
Well, I was going to say, like, I remember, I don't know how long you've already been like in the Bitcoin and crypto world. When I had first stumbled on you on Spaces, this must have been like 2 years ago when I first was getting started. We were still Wolf Web 3 at the time. This is before the Wolf Crypto and then before Wolf Bitcoin. But I'm kind of curious, like you've, especially in the last like 6 months, like I watched your podcast with Scott Nelker, The Wolf of Wall Streets, and that was a great podcast. You talked about Bitcoin as a business and a bunch of other things. But I'm kind of curious, like on your internal progression, like as I've kind of like followed your journey a lot through this Bitcoin world, I've also been sort of learning along the way. I'm curious on how your progression in the Bitcoin world has gone, like from those first spaces, you're learning about Bitcoin, convincing your twin brother to get into Bitcoin. Now he's coming in a big way. He interviewed Michael Saylor. He's getting in deeply with his business as well. And where you are today, like you've been out there, you're not shy to put out your opinion. You put it out there. You've gone against the grain with even some of your friends in the Bitcoin spaces. And you're not scared at all to put it out there because you've got, years and years, like you're saying, of experience in the real world. And you're like, some of these things sound good in theory, played out. I don't know if it actually makes sense. And you're not scared to say that. So I'm kind of curious on how your take on this. Oh, hold on. I just lost your audio. I don't know if it's me.
Yeah, sorry, it's me. I've been doing business with people that didn't like me since I was 21 years old, man. So like I said, no, ExxonMobil, I worked for a very large energy company when I was 25 years old. I won't say their name because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I just looked around and went, wow, 3 layers above me, I don't think any of these people actually know what they're doing. And I'm pretty sure they're not really doing anything. I was certain they weren't doing anything, but I was really confused if they understood. I was 25. And, you know, and then I looked at my life and I went, am I going to do this for the rest of my life, working for some big company with mahogany wood, big elevators? It's awesome. It looks awesome. It sounds awesome. But intellectually, I would have died. And there was this job that came around. Well, a man that I'd worked for was working at this really crazy company called Natural Gas Clearinghouse. And I just knew I had to work there. And I think I was making 60 or 70 grand at the time. I got an interview there, and I walked into the meeting knowing that I was willing to take a zero to work there. Okay? And this is what I don't understand about you young guys. Like, y'all talk about there's no opportunities. I'm like, wow, dude, I've never not had an opportunity. I make my opportunities. Yeah. Okay, I was making 60 or 70, and I walked over there and like, man, if I get hired here, dude, I'll work for zero. I was not walking out of that door. I knew I needed to work at this company. 12 people there, by the way, leaving a major player. 12 people. Oh, by the way, it's not public either. It's private. I'm not going to get any stock. But we were on to something so drastically different. And I knew I needed to get away from the people who grew up in the same industry. People that grow up in industries don't change industries. So when you see Microsoft trying to do AI, just understand they will never, ever do this properly. It has to come from outside, okay? You do not, it is so against human nature, much less a company that reports quarterly earnings, to cannibalize their own business. Right. I've been doing this 40 years. I have not met one company, including our own. Everything we built, oh shit, I should short the shit out of that thing. I can't, it'll cannibalize me. People don't do that to themselves. And so all the change that you're seeing in crypto, see, for me, it's really, really obvious and normal. And for most of the people, though, they've never been through a disruption event like this. If they have, I mean, you have been through them, but you don't even know how energy got to your house. It's so ubiquitous now, you don't even think. In fact, it's so cheap today, contrary to what all your little green punk friends say. It's so cheap today, dude. You never even turn off your laptop at night. If priced correctly, you would turn off everything. You don't leave your fucking car running in the garage all night.
That's a good point.
But you leave your computers, all of you guys, billions of fucking computers. That's thousands of megawatts being used overnight for no need whatsoever. Okay, which will get me to, I mean, I don't know how long we have, but it'll get me to, hey, energy's overpriced. It will come down. You will have the cheapest goods and services your generation ever in the history of mankind. In your lifetime, you're what, 23, 25? In your lifetime, by 37, everything you're going to have is virtually free. Wow. That's what I believe. I believe in a hyper deflationary cycle because guess what? I have experienced it for my entire lifetime. See, everybody's saying, hey, look, prices have gone up. Well, have they really? Because I think I have more freedom and more capacity and more a better luxury lifestyle than but 2 or 3 kings ever to live on this planet. I mean, like if we remove the kings that live today, you and I live better than every king ever before us. Okay, can't include Prince Charles because he's living in this period, right? He's got all the convenience you and I have, but I have greater conveniences than Alexander the Great by a lot. You know, the air conditioning that I have to pay so much money for here today, it works better than it used to. Now, is my insurance up? Is my medical? I know that things have gone up, but I can get an MBA for next to zero now online and do it in 1 year. I may not get the MBA from Harvard, but I'm soon going to, because once you start doing that type of education online, it will literally destroy all the colleges. because it's going to be superior education. In 2 or 3 years, I'm going to buy probably 3 robots from Elon, and one of them will be the educator. And I will be able to program this educator. Let's see, I want some Greek, I want some philosophy, Aristotle, Plato. By the way, there's some things that I don't want to do, but you need to teach me anyway. You need to teach me to play the guitar. You need to make sure that every 5 hours I'm out off my ass walking. And while we're not doing that and I'm doing the podcast, you're out walking the dogs for me. That would cost me $2,000 a month. Okay, for the dog walker. Hey, give me a cup of coffee. Well, that would cost me, my housekeeper, she gets $60,000 a year. Dude, the cost is going to be so phenomenal. And by the way, for you guys that, tired of having dates that lead to nothing, you probably have better dates with your robot. Oh, and you can put these people on a job. I think 80% of the people on this planet go to jobs because they don't want to be at the house. They're escaping the life they built for themselves, and they're going to do something else. I do think people need different things to do, but they're not there because they love that job.
Right.
They're not there because they're like tapping into their genius. So guess what? Remove that guy making $40,000 a year, replace him with a robot for 400 or 4,000. He's going to love doing that job, that repetitive job over and over. He will do it perfect and he will not complain.
Yeah.
Right?
What do you think that does for do you think that's,
and he won't be gossiping in the hallway
that is fair?
And trying to figure out who makes more money than, like, the waste that occurs in a business. I've had 7 of them. Okay. Once a company gets over 150 people, it is out of control. Then HR comes in and then it all gets fucked up. Innovation goes away the moment HR shows up. Innovation goes away. So this is an awesome opportunity. A guy like you is going to be able to build $1 billion business and have very few people working for him.
That is a really interesting
That's never been available. So even if there's only going to be 1 in 1 million of you that do that, it's still never been available, man.
Yeah.
So that means deflation is happening. Look, my brother drove up in a fucking Tesla the other day. He's all jacked up about his Tesla. I'm like, dude, it's a $40,000 car. He said, I love it, dude. I love it. Now, it didn't work properly. He's like, watch, you'll just bring me to your house and miss my road. but he fucking loves the thing. Okay. Well, that's not an expensive car.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not, man. Like that guy buys $500,000 cars. So you have super rich people going, I'm going to take a Tesla.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The demand for other cars is going to fall off the cliff.
Yeah, I took an Uber and the guy didn't even drive the other day. I was like, do I tip you for this? You didn't even touch the steering wheel.
Right. Hey, that guy won't be there one day.
That is true. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
dude, I don't want the guy there. Hey, I don't want him there. He's bringing germs. He's bringing his shit with him. I don't know if he's taping me. I don't know what I don't want him there.
Wow.
If I go into a surgery tomorrow, I want a robot doing it. I don't want a doctor. Why would I want a doctor who might have had an argument with his wife that morning? And he's feeling a little guilty. I don't want a fucking doctor, dude. I want a robot. We're there already. There are robots working. I mean, like, we're so close. I think our health gets better. Okay. They're growing ligaments and cartilage in some European country right now, dude. If you grow ligaments and cartilage, my mind is not getting less intelligent. I am becoming smarter, man, as a human being, as I stay plugged into the world and interested. I get smarter. It's the body that's going to struggle. What happens when you remove all the pain from a 60-year-old guy's body because of wear and tear? I've had 13 surgeries. Dude, I become better. I mean, much better, okay? So, like, I'm talking about coaching the likes we have never had. I know people that pay me $10,000 a month to coach them. You won't need to fucking hire me to coach you, dude.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's really impressive. And if you want to get into the Bitcoin thing, I can, but like, I don't think these guys are going to be using US dollars that have Steve Mnuchin's name on them to move money around.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not going to do that. I want them to pay all my bills, man.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to hire a secretary. Look at what we're doing here, dude. Quality here is awesome. Like, this is destroying Anderson Cooper. And you have I have no more than $2,000 in my equipment. He has $2 million a month.
Wow.
Right? I mean, he's got all the fancy gear. Look at what we're doing here. The quality is staggering compared to his cost. Plus, who's going to pay anyone $8 million a year?
Fair point.
Like, that's going away. And is it bad? Is it bad? All these media companies are going out of business? No, man, this happens. This is a cycle. When I went into the energy business, there was 23,000 oil producers in the United States. Now there's probably 400. This is natural. Okay, you have a rotation of people, and they merge, and then they die, and then somebody else comes up with a better idea, and they create competitors. So we're so young, we're so early in this transformation that we're going through, this digitization of the world, which will be tracked, traced, and accounted for down to the fucking meter, because it can be. The only reason one of the reasons we have all this insanity and all these audit problems is that because you don't have the tools to audit things properly. I mean, the U.S. government could not stand up to an audit for crypto of any size whatsoever. The U.S. government literally cannot legally and in a courtroom prove what a large crypto holder actually has. It's near impossible for them to do that. And the point I'm trying to make is that there are whole industries that are literally so far behind as to what's going on here. When you have $50 billion a day trading, and the IRS can't even, they have no way of managing a $1 billion crypto transaction book. They're completely guessing because they're using tools from yesteryear, Excel spreadsheets and pencils. This is an industry. And it's, if you think about it, it's a digital industry. The whole thing goes digital. I mean, ExxonMobil is going to use robots on their drilling platforms 24/7. No accidents.
Yeah.
No arms lost. My brother died in an oil explosion. So none of that's going to happen. I mean, the ExxonMobils of the world will put robots to work. They will be tickled pink. You will have a retraction of their overhead and their cost and the employees, and you will have production go up, and the margins will explode and lower prices to Joe consumer. That has never been available on this planet ever, where you can reduce prices and the principal player gets to make a greater margin. Who's going to hate this? Wall Street. You're going to see the Chevron's revenues are going to go down because the price is going to go down, but their margins are going to explode. So who cares? I could care less about top line revenue. If I can double my margin, top line revenue is not that important. But our whole world is built on a bunch of weird metrics like quarterly earnings and GDP and CPI. All of these numbers are inaccurate, every one of them. I probably got off base there.
No, I don't mind at all. Do you when you were first getting into the industries, maybe not right when you got in, but once you were kind of in there for a little bit, you kind of saw things were moving a little bit. Were you having these thoughts? Were you looking into the future, what we might see? Were you preparing for what was your mindset when you were first getting into these industries?
Well, you don't get into these industries. I got into one at a time, and I spent 17 years with one company and retired at 40. So these people that say you cannot work for a company and retire, wow, I did. I mean, I did that 10 years before my brother started really crushing it. So it's just not true that it's just not true that you can't build. Like, I could have never worked ever a day in my life. But I became very, very good at what I did, and I took risk. I took risk in a highly disruptive environment. This is why I think I get so passionate about this space, because I hear so many young people going, wow, it's really hard to make a living today. I'm like, I've never seen it easier.
Yeah.
And the career opportunities today are staggering. You don't need a resume. You don't need a school to go to. You just need a contact.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows anything about any of this shit. Where we're going, no one's been before. Yeah. And I find it fascinating that I seem to be the most comfortable person with all the change that's occurring. Everybody else is like, my God, dude, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. To answer your question, though, the first thing I did, I need to learn the industry I'm in. And then I really get deep into the industry. The beauty of the industry I grew up in is it taught me everything I would need to know about every other supply chain. How does a barrel of oil get built? How does a barrel of oil get to the market? How does it get cleaned, refined, moved? What's the cost to transport? What's the cost to drill? What's the cost of money? What's the cost of moving it? What's the cost of, don't need it now because there's no demand. Once you figure that out, you're like, oh, wow. You know, this whole entire supply chain for anything, music, how crypto is going to make it. Oh, we're going to make it without centralization. Yeah, no, you're not. You need big players if you want to sell to big players. So just get great at that one industry, and then went into another industry and then realized, look, all industries effectively are exactly the same, except for the nomenclature. The nomenclature is the verbiage they use to make their business unique. MMBTUs, barrels of oil, delivery points with special names on them that you wouldn't know, but I would know. Henry Hub, Brent, crude oil, right? All these things mean something. We could have had every one of these industries use exactly the same language, but the ego of Wall Street and MBAs, and we need to sound peculiar and special. Okay, so we come up with derivatives and we come up with puts and calls. What's put and call and derivative? It's an insurance policy, okay? I could have literally just said, hey, we have an insurance policy for downside protection and we have an insurance policy for upside protection. We didn't need to call it puts and calls, but it confuses people, right? I discovered that when I realized, hey, there's only 5 consulting firms in the world that just move from industry to industry every 10 years, changing it. Why do they do that? Because they make a shitload of fees.
Yeah.
The cool thing is to identify, oh, wow, McKinsey and these 4 other guys I won't name, but Cap Jim, they'll all put me on the list. I mean, they're fucking players, dude. Like, you never even think about these people, but they're in every industry on the planet, and they have one playbook. And they move that playbook from industry to industry. You can literally see it. Once you start looking through, hey, is there 5 guys that have one playbook that move from industry to industry? Yeah, dude. That's why we have all these industries go through.
Yeah.
Energy went through it, and then the whole world went through it, and then we start with the internet, and it changes, and then we go to payments, and then we just bounce from industry to industry. Once you understand, hey, all business is identical except in name and the words they use, it becomes really, really easy. Right? It becomes very, very easy. When I went into the credit card fraud industry, I met some guy who was selling 6,000 T-shirts a day for 3 years, okay, at $89.
Oh my God.
Because he was using the internet. And I was literally, my soon-to-be wife would drag me into this industry. And I'm sitting there looking at all these wankers going, y'all sell a bunch of stupid shit, man. No wonder you have fraud problems. And I just did not understand it. This is in 2005, I think. And I'm walking away from the guy. I'm probably thinking he's a dick. He said 6,000 T-shirts. And I'm like, and my supply and demand brain really, I'm like, he's selling 6,000 shirts a day, dude. Who is he taking that demand from? And the first thing that came to my mind was Walmart. Dude. He's selling $89 T-shirts to a $12 customer at Walmart. By the way, that probably removed 4 shirts that Walmart would sell. Because it's the same customer. Come on.
Yeah.
Right? That's buying stupid T-shirts. that would drive me to this, oh, wow, there's not an infinite demand for T-shirts. Someone's getting hurt here, okay? This guy is taking load factor, energy. He's taking load from Walmart. And why am I sharing all this? When we see the digital assets or currencies being used to arbitrage the excessive and unnecessary fees related, charged by Visa and MasterCard only, that are applied to perfectly legal transactions, credit card transactions, but they label these transactions as high risk or whatever. They're adult gaming, gambling, microtransactions. When that moves to crypto, shark the shit out of Visa and MasterCard. They've lost all their good margin business. And it's a huge amount of money. It's a huge amount of money, both in transaction fees and in the value-added services that they offer, mostly fraud protection, which looks more like organized racketeering to me, to exploit money from the merchant so they don't get robbed by the internet fraud. It's so pervasive on Visa and MasterCard system. If you actually saw how much fraud there was, you'd be like, why do you guys get a 30 multiple if you have so much fraud? So when that moves, they're making 20% margins on that. When that moves, I mean, that's a huge amount of money to a merchant. Average ticket's $106. He's paying somewhere between $12 and $20 to Visa and MasterCard. If that goes to XRP, or if it were to go to a Solana or something, they lose all that margin.
Wow.
And they acquire a new alternative to payments. And Visa and MasterCard will do everything they can to stop that. I mean, they will do anything and everything to stop it. So the first thing crypto people should do is, hey, look, if you're in this industry and you're really talking about all these things, you need to go look at the earnings reports of some of these fintechs and the Visas and the MasterCard. I'm very, very impressed with the crypto, with the Bitcoin in particular, their intelligence. I'm less impressed with Bitcoin's proper study of the enemy. They know an awful lot about their own product and very little about how the real world, TradFi world works, how adoption actually happens, what scale really means. And that's why I'm here. I mean, yeah. I'm being a little funny, but like, you guys want guys like me here, right? And now if you don't want me here, it's cool, because nobody else has ever wanted me there either. But I'm not here to disrupt this world. I'm not interested in disrupting Bitcoin. But once I came here, Cade, I had to also look, I made two decisions a long time ago. One, I'll die being an authentic human being. I am not interested in being fake. I didn't do all this work to get go fuck you money, yeah, and then act in a way that I'm not. Two, I think I have some real life experience here that when I'm placing a very, very large bet on this thesis of mine, and I see us making some mistakes, and I think it's better for me. If I'm going to criticize, I'm going to open my mouth up and I'm going to be like a man and state my case and go, hey, look, I think this is the way this thing plays out. And some of the things I think you guys are saying are actually scaring people away from crypto. And I think that's happened. I think it happens a lot, actually. So we do not know how to sell crypto. We do not know how to sell Bitcoin well to anyone. We really are not good at it. And like, that's a problem, that if you cannot confront that we have no centralized marketing department, which means, and I'm trying to be positive here, but it means when Bob says one thing and then Gary says something totally different, it's a mixed message, yeah, and it will confuse the consumer, the user, the acquirer of Bitcoin. So it's a problem. I don't know how we solve it other than guys like me coming on board saying, hey, look, I hear you and how you want to do it. However, my sister's probably not going to do it that way. Why don't we not make her wrong about it?
Yeah.
And by the way, you can't treat a guy with 12 Bitcoin the same way you treat a guy with 12,000.
Of course.
Okay. Like they have different issues. I assure you. I like all these products in the market. Okay. Like I got a phone call yesterday because the prices are down. I know why prices are down. People are getting phone calls like me. Hey man, your loan's probably going to get margin. So I moved 25, 50 Bitcoin into the loan. You know, if I do that in TradFi, I get an email and a phone call. They probably give me 3 or 4 days to fix it. I have to move shit around. I mean, I can do it, okay? But if it's on a weekend, I can't do it.
Right.
And so, and most people, like, I don't think really serious people have come to this market yet. I really don't. I was with Matt Hogan the other day. Matt did something on a release and about, you know, the adoption level. I said, hey, look, folks, just let's be clear. Okay, there's not 8 billion investors anywhere.
Yeah.
There's 500 million investors max on planet Earth. There's 10 million. That means if 2% has been adopted, that's 10 million people, dude. $4,400. That's what I think the average investment on Bitcoin is, $4,000.
Wow.
Okay. And across 10 million holders. And I have a bit more than that. So that means we haven't touched the surface of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
10 million. Matt Hogan immediately, I think he's in Europe. He immediately saw the post. Spot on, dude. But look, that's the way I break a market down. All you've ever heard, hey, there's 8 billion people. There's not 8 billion people going to own Bitcoin. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, 21 million divided by 8 billion. No, you can't do that math like that. That's not real. It's not real for adoption. You got to get 80 million before we get to 80 billion. You know how you get to second base, dude? You get on first base. A guy taught me that when I was 27. I'm like, hey, why'd you do that deal, dude? He said, dude, I can't steal second base if I'm not on first. I'm like, wow, that was stupid, but I'll never forget it. You gave a way to get on first base, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's the cool thing of working with people. You hear these crazy comments sometimes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I didn't like this guy, dude. I can tell you his name. I can tell you exactly when he said it to me. I remember the counterparty, Candy Vernetti. He's undersold price natural gas to this lady in SoCal Edison. And I was like, dude, why the fuck did you do that? I mean, 400 million cubic feet a day. In order to steal second, I got to get on first. You know? That was a fucking good answer, dude.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But, you know, I've used it my whole life, dude. I continue to use that. I'm like, hey, you know, I need to get on first base here, which is my message to, if you're sitting on the sidelines watching this Bitcoin thing, you got to get to first base first.
Yeah.
And by first base means you need to, you know, put $10,000. I don't believe in investing less than $10,000 on anything. And the reason why is that if you and I made a friendly bet right now for $500, could you easily lose that?
Yeah.
You know you can replace the 500. How about 5,000?
It would be slightly painful, but I'd be fine.
Yeah, but 50,000, 500,000, 5 million. So you're going to start thinking about these decisions and go, dude, am I really convinced that I'm right? Making a $50 bet on XRP, everyone can lose $50.
Right.
You should spend the $50 on buying a book and
Yeah.
learning something about yourself. That's the first investment, dude. Invest in yourself, buy as many books as you possibly can, and read every one of them. Read like a motherfucker. When you're young, you should be reading a book a week at least. And most of that, hey, book on who am I? You know, like that. That's why I do the Sunday deal on IM, dude. It is totally a magic super pump, super hack for life. It's good if you're 8. It's good if you're 18. It's good if you're 88. I mean, seriously, it's magic.
Yeah, tell me more about this, because a lot of people tune into this show. It's a thing you do every single week. At least I've seen it. I'm pretty sure you're live every single week.
Well, it's the only thing I do now on social media other than interviews.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, I'm like, hey, I can't host spaces about Bitcoin price every day.
Yeah.
Y'all, I don't even look at the price every day. I have no clue where it is right now. Probably 72.
I hope so. I hope so.
So, I mean, I
The
think
metals have been what everyone's talking about lately, though.
what is?
The metals is what everyone's been talking about lately.
Yeah, oh, for sure. So I am, I've been doing it now for a year and a half. I have been, since I was 22 years old, I was so lost coming out of college. I had no clue what to do. And I was either going to chase women, party my ass off, or a little of both, and then, hey, figure out how to make a living.
Yeah.
And I made a deal with my parents that I would never shame them, make their name, give their name shame. So I think I just had a little guilt and shame about being a productive human being. Anyway, because of my nervousness and lack of skills and lack of education, I've just been reading books my whole life. Hey, how can I improve? How can I get an edge? And I remember driving to work at the clearinghouse, the job I really wanted. I remember just going, hey, I am a good trader. I am a great trader. I am a leader. And I started I would turn off the radio and I just pound the steering wheel, because I was so scared, dude. I was nervous as shit. And, I didn't have an MBA. I didn't have a dad. So I look back on my life now that I've had a number of successes. And I'm like, this is one, how do you know all this stuff? And it's like, oh, I have experience. But I recognize that really the power, like, I think I'm a really, really, really good teacher. Like I can say that. Well, I'm not a big bragging person. I don't want to be, at least. But I think I have become an excellent teacher, especially compared to what I see. And I can remember ever since being in probably junior high school, watching teachers and thinking, I could teach better than that. This is an awful fucking teacher. I had two teachers I liked, and both of them were in classes that I should have not liked. Anyway, now I find myself years later being a teacher, and then I recognized about a year and a half ago, sitting in an art room, I'm like, wow, I've been saying I am a great teacher since I was about 12.
Wow. Interesting.
See, now I'm going back going, hey, why am I doing this? Oh, dude, I was saying this 20 years ago.
Wow.
This is all coming true for me now. Okay. And like, this is real. Like, I'm actually going through an exercise in front of the audience, 2,000 to 4,000 people show up. And instead of people, I hate people preaching to me. I hate people telling me what to do. I find it obnoxious and ignorant because they don't know where I'm at.
Yeah.
They have no idea what I'm dealing with, really. I mean, they pretend like they do. And so instead of, this may sound quite narcissistic, but I'm just going through the exercise of I am with 3,000 or 4,000 other people. And they will then be able to determine in a year or two, hey, did that work for Gary?
Yeah, wow.
Okay, and some of it's showing up in the art I'm doing. Some of it's showing up in the results. Some of it's showing up in my clarity on Bitcoin is actually a business.
Yeah.
And it offers an opportunity to a guy like you that you've never had before. Your family most certainly did not have the opportunity to do what I'm doing with Bitcoin. I did this with Melker 2 or 3 weeks ago. Melker's like, dude, I think you ought to go on a road show.
Yeah,
This
that was
is the smartest fucking trade I've ever heard. I've never heard this thing about, hey, this is a private equity business. No NDAs, no shareholders, no equity partners, no options, no law, insurance, no people, no HR. Man, I like no income to pay income tax on.
Oh,
People
wow.
think that's a bad thing. I'm like, dude, I like no income. Great appreciation. If I hold it for 4 years, it's going to be 8 years sooner for my exit than any other thing I've ever done. I mean, I'm in a deal for 15 years right now. I can't exit. So people talk about building these businesses, but they don't talk about how long it takes to exit. And then you end up with 2-year non-compete contract, 2 years advisory fee, advisory service, people you don't even want to be with. Once you sell a company, you're like, dude, I wanted to sell and move on. Now I got 2 more years, people asking me shit. no exposure on sitting on a board and making a mistake.
Yeah.
You know, and Melker was like, this is a great deal here. This is for me to be able to build a business that has a CAGR of 12%, not 35, not 69 like all you guys are using. Why you're using these crazy numbers? You don't need 35% CAGR to do 100% on Bitcoin. You need 12. Okay, so why would I estimate, oh, yeah, my portfolio is going to go up 35% a year every year for the next 40 years? Fuck, dude, I'll take 12 for 10. Thank you very much. Makes me extremely wealthy. Then what happens is that you are sitting there only making 12 going, wow, why am I not keeping up with the guy that's making 35? You see, it's bad. It's really bad because you think your hurdle is 35. Dude, 12% money grows about every 2.5 years by double. And so 2 million goes to 4 in 2.5 years. 4 million goes to maybe 4 years. 2 million goes to 4. 4 goes to 8. 8 goes to 16. And we're now into year 20. Okay, we're starting on year 16 going to 20. You'll be 50 years old, dude. It's $16 million. Okay. Now you got to figure out how to start with the first mill.
Sure.
Okay, but everybody's looking at these crazy 38% numbers instead of going, dude, this is a business for 15 years. All you got to do is go mine the Bitcoin. Bang, bang. If I was mining gold right now, I would be on interviews from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They would call me a rock fucking star. I just made that one up, but a rock star, a glittery rock star. But the truth is, like, I don't need any mining equipment and massive capital and operating expenses to mine Bitcoin. I can just buy Bitcoin from Coinbase or Binance or anybody else, okay? Buy it and store it and then go buy some more. And that's mining gold. It's mining 21st century gold. Now, everybody before in the gold business, only players that got rich were the people that did the picks and shovels.
That's right.
Right? The gold miners got crushed. Why? Because they had so much cost, dude. People dying.
Yeah.
Protect their sites, protection, gun, drilling equipment, seasonality problems, time issues. They missed their fucking debt. I don't see anything different than, oh, wow, I could go run a Popeyes franchise. $2.5 million. I can buy a franchise called Bitcoin right now for 72 grand. In fact, I could buy a part of it for 7,200. And I get the same pro rata rights as Gary Cardone, who bought a whole franchise. Ooh, I've never had that trade where I'm a minor partner and I get to enter at the exact same price as the principal guy. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Wow, really? I can buy $700 of the greatest franchise in history as no operating expenses, and Gary's buying 40 million and I'm buying at the same price. Yeah, dude.
That's interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
That's never happened, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I have guys right now trying to get me into the IPO, the SpaceX IPO. Dude, I'll get hammered.
For sure.
I will get hammered with these.
Yeah.
Okay, this has never been available. You can say, hey, that's interesting. This is why I get frustrated with people. I'm like, this has never happened where you could buy gold without getting your hands dirty at the exact same price as a guy like Barrett Gold, who's got mining facilities all over the world. I mean, dude, that's a fucking cool thing. Okay, like a micro miner can mine Bitcoin for $37,000, and Mara, it costs $135,000. Wow. Small is getting a better price than large. That has never happened before, which, by the way, I think will stay consistent in Bitcoin for the next 8 years. Bitcoin mining may not be something you can scale. Really fascinating to me. I've just dawned on me, oh, wow, the micro miners are able to make Bitcoin at 37,000. And the big miners, the ones that get all the attention, that are sitting in the middle of Texas on the grid, are having to pay $100,000 more. Maybe Bitcoin mining isn't something you can scale, put together, and do size all in one location or many locations. In which case, that means mining is going to be spectacular business long term. Micro mining.
Yeah.
Micro mining, not, hey, I need to be 8 gigawatts. I think that's going to fail spectacularly. Unless they become the energy supply itself, unless it becomes an Exxon or a Sovereign. So, you know, it does make it, I think it makes it easier. I think that what's going to be really healthy for the crypto, for Bitcoin, I think the crypto industry is going to get wrecked, but Bitcoin itself is, you see more and more players like my vintage or genre or however you want to call it come in. You're going to see far less panic. Far less panic. You'll see far less panic from the likes of my brother. You know, he'll call me up. He came over Saturday. Most certainly he's more, you know, price goes down, he's going to be, hey, Gary. But you're never going to see panic from us on, he may call me, hey, what do you think's going on? But the question really for him is, hey, you know, should I set my bids lower? And I think that's the difference in the people that are coming here. Like, we're setting bids in, man. We're actively acquiring Bitcoin. And if the 3 or 4 million other guys that are holding Bitcoin aren't going to do that, you guys should be complaining more, because you're the ones that are getting hurt. I'm not getting pushed out. I mean, I literally moved, you know, 50 Bitcoin over for, like, it's not going to be a problem for me. It's not going to be a problem for my brother. And that is so promising for Bitcoin. Oh, this is the next money? Y'all should be sucking on us, dude. You shouldn't be killing us. You should be like, oh, wow, this guy is here to stay. Remember, the new entrants are paying about 9 to 15, 20 times more than most of the other bag holders.
Yeah.
We're the ones with conviction. There was no conviction needed at $300. Come on, man. It was a lottery fucking ticket. I know that. It was, dude. It was a fucking lottery ticket. Excuse me. But I know that because they should have doubled up and they should have tripled up, quadrupled up. Because if you made it on 300, dude, you know 600, it's popping.
Yeah.
Okay. And that did not happen. Okay. So one, they didn't have any loan mechanisms to borrow against their Bitcoin. So now we have loan mechanisms where you got guys like me buying fucking Bitcoin, and then I'm borrowing more. I'm lending my Bitcoin to borrow more Bitcoin, or buy more Bitcoin. You have the same contingent of people bitching about Michael Saylor's strategy. And I'm like, I just moved $3 million from treasuries to STRC, man. Now, my bank just had a education on, hey, why are y'all trapping me into 3% bonds when I can be making 11.5% in a preferred stock that's completely collateralized? Okay. So $3 million just moved into Bitcoin from Gary Cardone that was sitting in treasuries.
Yeah.
To buy STRC. Now, is that good for the Bitcoin market or not? I don't have the Bitcoin, but Saylor's going to buy $3 million worth of Bitcoin. That's good for Bitcoin, dude. It just, because the bank would not let me have that same conversation into Bitcoin. No chance. Right. See, my point to them is, look, they want that money there. So for your audience that understands, I borrowed some money from the bank. I bought a house. They attach some of that to treasury notes. I have to keep a certain amount of treasury notes so they know, hey, if everything goes tits up, we're still okay.
Yep.
After 2 years of poor performance on their treasury notes, I showed them, I said, hey, guys, if I'm going to keep my banking with you, I need you to consider getting me out of these treasuries. They're killing me. It's the lowest performing part of my portfolio. And I said, all I want you to do is take 3 million of the 5 or 3 of 5 or whatever. It doesn't have to be millions. It could be $30,000. I want you to take that and put it into STRC, which makes 11.5%. and I only pay 17% on tax versus me sitting in a treasury note making 3 and paying 30% tax. Now, one, the bankers had never heard of this. Two, I am into MicroStrategy. I own that stock. So I already knew they love the MicroStrategy liquidity, and that because STRC sits on top of MicroStrategy as a preferred stock, I knew I could back them into a corner when they went, yeah, but it's only been around 7 months. I'm like, yeah, dude, but it's strategy. It's on top of strategy. So if you want me to sell my strategy, I will. But you've already approved this. It's like gold.
I see.
Okay. All you need to do is go back to your risk management team and go, God, the guy's going to get 11.5%. He's paid monthly. Why would we trap him here? Like, it's not good for them either.
Sure.
So money moved into Bitcoin through a mechanism that I could never have gotten that into Bitcoin, into any part of Bitcoin. And I think that's good for Bitcoin. Okay. It's fucking awesome for Bitcoin. And that's what these other products are offering. They're offering people that have different tastes, different problems, different risk profiles. It's not ideal for me because I don't want the income, but shit, at 17%, I'll take the income.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference. Like, now, most people may not have all these challenges and opportunities, but you will. Like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll end up in a place where you look down one day and go, okay, I have wealth to now be able to move around. I have muscle. That's all, dude. It's power, it's muscle, it's energy. I get to move this around to help me, my family, or whatever I'm trying to achieve. I think that's the way people should look at it. Hey, am I using this energy correctly?
Yeah. No, that's very well put. And I know we have to bounce here in a second. I wish I need a part 2 at some point, Gary. I have a few follow-up questions that I want to get into, especially I'd not really thought, I've never heard the STRC. I guess I knew the STRC's arguments. I never heard of it spoken like that with how you actually had the conversation with the bankers to get into the Bitcoin. That is actually a really fascinating topic. Damn. Okay. I have to go here in a second.
It was really interesting because they know that I'm heavy in Bitcoin.
Please.
They've seen my Bitcoin wallets, which, by the way, see, that's another thing I've seen. I've been with these guys for, I keep relationships with people for a long time. The behavior they have with me today versus 3 years ago is really, really different. What's the difference? Well, one, Bitcoin price moved a lot. Two, I showed them my positions. Like, I brought one up. Hey man, here's Coinbase. Here's, and they most certainly don't want to lose the opportunity to service that account because they know they're going to come into Bitcoin at some point. Their management's just like fighting the whole thing. They'll all get here. Okay. They will all get here. But this was a way to help educate these guys without making them dumb, without making them wrong. Right. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I think all of them will start now. They'll have STRC all on their ticker. Start looking at this going, wow, dude, 11%. I looked at them and, hey, you're doing your fucking other clients a disservice, dude. Like, this is a monster trade for y'all.
Yeah.
You start calling all your customers up and go, I'm moving a quarter of your portfolio to 11%. They're going to love you. I said that to them. And then I walked off. I left them with the bill. But so, like, I think that's a good messaging for the industry, right? And I couldn't do that if Saylor hadn't pushed that product out there.
Yeah, that is true.
We haven't not, dude. We're so young, so early in this space. I have a friend, my mentor, who taught me everything about the energy business that I know. He's the board member. He's the chairman of the board of Williams Energy. I called him about a year ago. I said, let me ask you a question, dude. When y'all were starting the clearinghouse, and I knew the answer for me, but I'm like, hey, did you ever recognize we were going to make this big of an impact? And he's like, fuck no, man, no way. He was like, are you kidding me? Now, this is all he's ever done, okay? Since his background at Enron and today, he's still in the energy business, doesn't know shit about Bitcoin, couldn't spell Bitcoin. And I said, well, what have you learned now, 50, 60 years later, right? Seen the whole ride. what have you learned? Like how much has the industry adopted as to really, really open markets and exploiting margins and being efficient? And he said, that's the funny thing. And he said, Gary, we just bought a company for $25 million that has been in the market for like years, and we made $250 million the first year. He said, simply one change, management. That was it. The only thing was culture and management. And his answer to me was, Gary, the energy complex, the staid players, not the commodity players, they're still only halfway there. 40 years later, dude. Okay, so like we started with this conversation, disruptors underestimate how long this takes, and they underestimate the impact it's going to make. Every time. The energy construct is a really, like what he's saying is, wow, dude, they haven't taken advantage of half of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my way of saying, oh my God, crypto has such a long road. Bitcoin has a very long road. I think crypto has an unbelievably rough journey in front of itself. But Bitcoin, which will impact Bitcoin,
of course.
But we're in the first inning, man. We're in the first inning, and we do not need a strategic Bitcoin reserve. That is not my thesis for being super long Bitcoin. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about the SBR. The U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is a pipe dream. We don't need it. It's not going to happen. It will let you down. And it would be insane for the United States government to put Bitcoin into the strategic reserve, assuming that's the only thing. It'll be gold, silver, and who knows what, okay? But we'll be lucky to get into a piece of it. It's all we deserve right now, guys. We're nothing. We're a tiny little market. And quit behaving with the arrogance and the hubris that we've made it. We are nothing right now. And gold and silver are showing you that. People are not plowing all this money into Bitcoin. It's too small. It's too small, but it's okay. It's 17 years old, man.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a time, Natural Gas Clearinghouse, I couldn't do certain deals. I can't do a $400 million deal, dude. It's too big for us. It killed me, man.
Wow.
Okay, so what did I have to do? I had to go focus on $200 million deals. By the way, I'm in college. I finished college with an MBA. I don't see anywhere on that college says, hey, I haven't, I have the right and the luxury, and you have to make an affordable home in California for me just because I finished college. Or, hey, I've got a good paying job, but I can't afford that great car. Yeah. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And today seems people, hey, I can't afford the house, man. It's everyone else's mistake. I'm like, why don't you go work harder, dude? Or move, man. There's 1,000 homes for $300,000 next to me. 1,000 homes within 10 minutes for me in Southern Florida. Awesome. 10 minutes from the greatest beaches in the United States. And they're $300,000 and the interest costs you about 4.5. Oh, you want to live in California? Well, sorry, dude. I mean, I'd love to be living in Mayfair right now, but it's fucking dangerous as shit. Mayfair, London. I mean, Tom Cruise just left there. He's like, dude, this is too dangerous now.
Wow.
So go live wherever you want. You get to live wherever you want, but don't blame me and the economy because your idiot and governor made your house completely unaffordable. I just don't see where. I don't understand the whining. I don't mean to be dismissive to your genre, but it's like your age group. But I'm like, why are y'all complaining, dude? I see so many opportunities. Don't you? I think you see opportunities.
Yeah, I'm more whining. Maybe it's my Asian mother who was just like work harder, stop, just shut up and do the chores kind of thing. Maybe it was that when I was growing up, but I'm definitely more in that boat because it works. I know too many like
that's the right answer, man.
So
look, if you're only going to work 37 hours a week, you're only going to be 37 hours of value to anyone. 37 hours of value to me a week is suck on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like seriously, man, you've decided to be mediocre average. Don't give me this. Oh, that sounds like slavery. Do I look like I'm a slave? I have fun doing what I'm doing. Like, you should find something you can do with great passion, and you don't give a fuck about how much money you're making. I've never cared about the money. No, never, dude. It's just a game. Now, I've always stuck my nose into really big games. That's a tip. Go into really super big markets. Don't go into a tiny little market, or go into a hyper tiny market and own the whole thing, which means you're going to be working 100 hours a week. See, there's no, like your Asian mom, she taught you right, dude. This all comes down to parenting. Hey, get off your ass and go to work, punk. That's the message. It's like, it's not complicated.
I agree. I mean, there's really there's nothing else to do. I mean, I was just like, you just gotta get up and go. There's quite literally nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I honestly think I think that's pretty much the only message, especially to the younger people. I mean, whether or not you're worried about Epstein's list, or if you're worried about the thing happening in the other side of the world, or if there's something going on in your neighborhood, you just have to go do things and get the ball rolling. There's basically nothing else to do in this world, especially if you're a dude. You gotta go make something of yourself. Like that whole red pill movement that came. You can like it or not, but one thing they got right was you gotta get the ball moving. Action is pretty much the only thing that matters. Gary, dude, I really appreciate all the time. I appreciate all the wisdom as well, and a couple of the good nuggets in there. I got to wrap here and jump into this Bitcoin space. For people who are watching right now back at home, if you're watching this on stream on X, definitely be sure to check the space or check his handle right above us. You can give him a follow there. He does the stream. He's live on X all the time. Gary, any last final thoughts before we sign off?
Show up 10:30 a.m. Sunday mornings. It's the most important thing I'm doing in my life, and it will help you. If you're a trader and you're in the space, you most certainly need that data. So love to have you guys. You're always welcome. Thank you very much, Kate. Good luck to you, and congratulations on all your success so far, man.
Thanks so much, Gary. And everyone back at home, repost the space if you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Peace. And we'll see you in the space.